Hola, welcome to Spanish Black Metal Review. This is Balmog's new album, Laio, which is here for review, released through Anthem Records, and now here on Rauta as well. This is their fifth album, and the band is already from 2003, so more than 20 years in the business, and now it's time for their fifth album. The band hasn't been that active in terms of releasing full albums all the way through, because they started with the debut album 2012, but prior to that they did demos, EPs and split, so it's not like they just created their music later on. Maybe just a little bit of a slow start when it comes to albums. Now, I've gone through some of the Balmog's material previously on Rauta channel as well, and for me the band has been a little bit of a hit and miss. It's not like they ever did a bad album, but let's be honest with my own opinion. The best material is far from some of the rest, so there is more like filler parts with some really good stuff and all that. Now, for me, Laio is a little bit of hit and miss material as well, because it seems it's not really sure which way to go. Partially, it's just what I was expecting based on my previous good recollections of the band. It could be really nailing with, good songwriting, somewhat memorable stuff, and, just nailing it with traditional take on second wave black metal. But there are these parts, and in my opinion too often, where it just kind of gets atmospheric without really being atmospheric black metal. If that sounds like weird comment, I'll try to elaborate. Let's put it this way. There are lots of parts where it just have the energy, goes fast forward and all that stuff. So, being more on the aggressive side of things. Not maybe the Marduk level of aggression, but fast, straightforward and all that nonetheless. Then there are parts where it just kind of gets more in the moody ways. Not really like depressive like the so-called suicidal depressive black metal ones, but more the atmospheric stuff, like figuring out which way to go. More building on the atmosphere rather than executing effective songs, that really hit the nail and become those memorable tracks. And then there are parts which are really neither. It's more like a transition phase from that aggression and straightforwardness to this one that, hey, don't worry so much about the songwriting, let's focus on the atmosphere. And that's, for me anyway, part of the problem. Now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong, fundamentally at least, with, the production or the riffs itself. It's more like some of that stuff is not really doing the trick. Not for the atmosphere, not for the memorability. And then there's this thing that the vocals are a little bit unusual for black metal stuff. I mean, they are not really the raspy or screamy stuff, but sometimes halfway between clean and typical black metal vocals. And for me, it's more like lacking the hate, the aggression, the darkness, that kind of a bestial feeling. So it's like, where exactly are you going to? So there are parts where it kind of feels like this is a black metal band moving away from the whole genre. A little bit like post-black metal thing. But then again, lots of these riffs are exactly more like tapping into the modern black metal stuff. So yeah, there is this transition phase in so many ways with the album. And then when you add to the very fact that some of the tracks are quite lengthy, it seems like as if there were more like jamming parts rather than fully executed, nicely produced with focus and all kind of riffs. Like, hey, we're gonna make this and here and that riff after that, and then we're gonna do the chorus part and all that stuff without people getting bored. But it's more like, hey, I want to just play this riff for another time, and that's probably one of the reasons why there is this post-black metallic feeling. So it's not really dark, it's not really hateful, it's not really, depressive. What it is supposed to be, I don't know, maybe too amorphous in that sense. Once again, it's not like it's bad, but I gave it, many listens, and I was still figuring out I can't really grasp anything here. But then when I just let it flow more in the background, it becomes this background album, which doesn't really annoy me at all. I mean, I kind of like this stuff. But when it comes to hey, can you mention a certain riff or certain song? I'm like, no, this is not the kind of stuff that really talks to me in the level of like, hey, this is a great song, that is another good song, and so forth. It's just more about building on the atmosphere without actually being atmospheric black metal. I know it sounds confusing, and maybe it's just my limitation with the language and all to express it. Or maybe you just have to listen to yourself and figure out, am I full of shit with my comments and all that stuff. No, I get it. This is for a certain kind of people with certain kind of taste. But if you're looking for some kind of an extreme experience with this kind of black metal album, I can only say that good luck with that. Now, without more bullshit coming out of my mouth, you would do yourself a favor if you just listen to yourself. Links are provided in the description box. Good luck, and I hope you like it. Bye.